I did not pay for this. Okay, so here's what happened. So tomorrow is the birthday of my significant other, and I know what you're thinking. Wait, what, who, what, where, when? You have a significant other? A lot of people think that I'm very open and like, I'm an open book, here's my whole life. I'm really not. I'm actually a very private person, and I know it seems like my whole life is on the internet. And it can be hard to argue that one. Anyway, we're not even talking about this. So the reason why I even say this is because for the birthday of my significant other, because birthdays are canceled, and at least in Boston, Massachusetts, like, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. I know that other states are opening up. We've opened up construction and religious services. I have not been to the nail salon in months. Nothing's open here. So for his birthday, we are going to his sister and her fiance's house, and we are going to stay out on the porch and grill and everything. And I always get asked, Emmy, what do you do in these situations? What do you do when you get invited over to somebody's house and they're having dinner? You know, what do you do in these situations? So I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. So we are going to do like a grilling barbecue style type of thing. So obviously I'm gonna have a hamburger, maybe a couple of hot dogs. Not. So what I do in these situations, this is a perfect opportunity to bring something along. Now, I do want you to always look big picture, and this is something that I do inside my program, is I have my clients build their signature system where you look big picture and you consider, what occasions in my life am I going to want to eat something that's not technically slim on starch? That's the name of my program, Slim on Starch. And actually it's what I should be doing because it promotes longevity and sustainability. It allows me to enjoy life, be a little loose and goosey here and there, because the fact of the matter is that a 97% is still an A+, and you don't have to be perfect all the time. I am not perfect all the time, but that's kind of neither here nor there. I did just want to open up and say that you do not have to eat this way 100% of the time. You honest to God don't, and my most successful clients are the ones that don't do that. But there are scenarios where you do want to eat a nice healthy meal. You want to feel your best. In my case, I don't want to wake up with acne the next day. I don't want to have a stomach ache. I really do want to feel my best. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat something that makes me feel my best. And that's another thing that I do want to talk about, is that you don't want to, I'm getting way too ahead of myself because I am planning on sitting down and talking about all this, but I may as well get out some of it right now, is that we shall not feel guilty for wanting to eat a healthy meal. And I think that a lot of people do, especially a lot of women, a lot of people pleasers, people that don't like to ruffle feathers, people that are very agreeable, feel guilty about going to somebody's house and not wanting to eat the food that they're serving. They feel rude about it. But here's what I want you to consider, okay? When you go into these scenarios, you want to be your best self, right? You want to be your happiest, you want to feel good, you want to feel energized. Wouldn't you be doing them a disservice if you go to that occasion, you go to that event, you eat food that doesn't make you feel good physically or emotionally? It just messes with, you know, some people when they eat sugar, they get all crazy. Would you want to be that person around your loved ones? Would you want to be anything less than the best version of yourself around your loved ones? So that's something that I want you to consider when you go into these scenarios, and remember that you're doing them a service by being your happiest and your healthiest self. So what am I going to do for tomorrow? Well, I thought I would take you along on the journey. This is decaf green tea. If you know, you know. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a grain salad. So I do have a quinoa recipe that I give out in my program, but I would be pressed to believe that men having their steaks would want a quinoa salad on the side. So I think instead of the quinoa, I'm gonna keep the rest of the salad. I'm gonna change a few things. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a grain salad, but quinoa is just pushing it a little bit. I think I'm gonna do like a wild rice mix. I'm gonna go to the store and see what they have, see what strikes my fancy, and add in maybe some mango if the mango is ripe. If the mango is not ripe, then I'll just go for another stone fruit that could add some sweetness to it, some black beans, some peppers. You'll see what I get, and I'll make it on camera. And then I'm gonna make up some veggie skewers. So let's get our mask on and let's go to the store. Guys, I'm car vlogging. Remember when I bought this car vlog mount and then coronavirus is like, nope, They're selling the house next door to mine. I'm gonna be buying a home soon. I just got approved for a mortgage, and my parents go, well, actually, my dad wants me to move to Texas. Love that for me, because I mentioned it once and he fixated on it. When I announced to my parents that I was moving to Australia, my dad threw his hands up in the air and cheered. So, my mom, on the other hand, like, had a panic attack. When the house next door went up for sale, my mom goes, the house next door is for sale? I was like, all right, honey, isn't that the grocery store? It's wicked humid out. Like, my hair is already starting to frizz up, you know? Okay, I think I'm gonna go for this instead of the mango, even though the mango on its own is $1, but this is $5, but I can see that this is good, whereas I could open up the mango and it could be a terrible color. So honestly, whatever. I'm just gonna, you know, special occasion, I'll get the more expensive mango. So I'm getting that for the mango. I've got some mushrooms for the veggie skewers, so I have those. I got some cucumbers for the quinoa salad, some squash for the veggie skewers. So for the skewers, I'm gonna do zucchini, summer squash, I'm gonna do these mushrooms, and then I'm going to get a red onion. And then I have limes for the quinoa salad, or the green salad, some bell peppers, and I need to go get a couple other things. And look how beautiful this pot of mums is. All right, we are in the fancy green section. So I see some rice. I want like a blend. I want a nice blend. Honeys, when you look hard enough, this is what I want. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try this out. Wow, okay, so brown rice, sweet brown rice, wild rice, Wahani red rice, and brown rice. Honeys. All right. So I'm back from the store and I realized that I've forgotten several things. But I can't be blamed. You can only go one direction in the grocery store. They have arrows that are on the floor, so you can't go back, and you have your mask on. It's just, there's so many other things. There's so many other distractions that, and I had a list. I really don't have an excuse, but it's fine because I need to go back anyway because I went to the balloon. I needed to get balloons, and they were all out of balloons, and the lady said that the shipment is supposed to come today, so I'll have to go back today. But that's fine, I can show you what I got. So unrelated to the salad that I'm making, it's cherry season, and you honeys know that I love cherry season. So the top half of the bag, they were red, like not dark, but the bottom half of the bag was dark, so I poured out the top half of the bag and got the bottom half of the bag. And I got some grapes because I just love. I did not pay for this. Okay, so here's what happened. Oh my goodness. What should I do? Like, I'm the type of person, like, I can't sleep at night because of this. Okay, so what happened was I went to self-checkout and I checked everything out, and then I saw the cherries and I was like, oh my god, it's cherry season. So I went to the cherries and I got them, and then I came back to self-checkout and I had been gone so long that the lady like cleared out my order. That leaf blower is so far away and you can hear it perfectly. The cashier lady had cleared out my order and she was like moving my cart away, and I was like, oh no, that's mine, and she put the mango in here. I'm going back later today. I'll give it back then. Okay, so I got this mango because this is, it looks like it's ripe. I'll test out a piece to see. I got all of the squash to go in the veggie skewers. I got a bunch of limes for this salad. I got the Lundberg wild rice blend for the salad. Cucumbers for the salad. I hate that I have all this plastic, but you can't use reusable bags at this time. Got the bell peppers for the salad. And got mushrooms for the skewers. I forgot to get the red onions, so I'll have to get those too. So what I forgot was beans, corn, and onions. I want onions for the skewers and I want beans and corn for the salad, but that's fine because I can just throw in the beans and the corn at the end. But I can get everything else all sorted right now, which is what I'm gonna do while I chat with you. Okay, so I'm gonna start out by getting this rice started. So you can see my hair is already it's soaking it out. So let's see, let's get the directions on here. 1 cup of rice to 1 3/4 cup of water. So I'm gonna use 2 cups of dry rice. So let's see what that gets us. This 1 cup, 2 cups. Okay, so I've just put 2 cups. I spilled the rice and now it's on top of the mango. Okay, so this means that I'm going to put in 2 3.5 cups of water. So I'm combining 2 cups dry rice with 3.5 cups of water. All right, I'm gonna bring it to a boil and then cover it and let it simmer for 45 minutes. So while that is getting to a boil, I'm going to chop up all of the other ingredients, and all the other ingredients are just gonna go in raw, which is what makes this so easy. All you have to do is cook up your grain. You could even buy the grain already cooked. You know, if you're doing something like quinoa, I know that at Whole Foods they have this great quinoa blend that's frozen and it's already cooked, or you could buy frozen rice that's already cooked and just add that in. That would take like 2 seconds, but I wanted to be fancy today. So now I'm going to chop up some of my cucumbers, and let's get chatting as I chop these up. So yeah, I often get asked about, you know, getting invited to social events and eating differently, and how people just feel awkward about eating differently at these events. And you know, something we have to realize is that there's a difference between, we talk about this in our program, there's a difference between primary food and secondary food. Primary food is not the food that's on our plate. That's secondary food. Primary food is our family, our friends, our relationships, our careers, the things that make us feel full, that make our heart full. And a lot of times we confuse primary foods and secondary foods. And the purpose of these gatherings, you know, I'm going down to my boyfriend's sister's place and we're celebrating his birthday. We're going because we're celebrating his birthday and we want to be together, and that is the purpose of the get together. The food is not the purpose of the get together. The food is just secondary to that. And of course there's a time and a place where the food is very much a part of the occasion when it comes to something like Thanksgiving or Christmas, and the food is very much a part of it. But in other scenarios, we need to remember that being together and celebrating one another is really the purpose of us going, and that is our focus, and that is what we want to focus on. And the food is just secondary to that. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the food and think that the whole occasion is about the food. And you know, some people will think, you know, I'm being antisocial if I'm not having food that's there. And so I say, well, where's the proof of that? You know, that's a thought that you've had, and that is a thought that you've created in your mind, and I think you need to fact check that. Because think of it this way, let's say that you're having a party and your friends show up and there's pizza at the party, and you're like, hey, you want some pizza? And the person's like, oh no man, I just ate, like totally full, like just had dinner. You don't really think twice about it. You just keep moving on. And when it happens to somebody else, you don't think twice about it. But if you do it, then you think that you're a weirdo and a freak. And what you're doing, you're at this party, you're at this social gathering, that's the opposite of being a weirdo and a freak, because you're there and you're being social. So that is the fact. That's the evidence that you're being social. And another thing that, you know, I said earlier is, we want to present our best versions to the people that we're with in our happiest and healthiest self. And being able to share this food as well, all this healthy food, that's something that's such a gift, giving the gift of health, and to be able to enjoy that together is awesome. I think we also just have to be, you know, if you act confident about it and you don't make it a big deal, then nobody else is gonna make it a big deal. If you make it a big deal, then people are gonna notice that you're being weird. You just have to be totally nonchalant and confident about it and not act like it's a big deal. And you know, in my program we have social school, and Kiki, who's the therapist, one of the therapists on our program, she has Kiki's table tips about what to say when people say things about your diet. And I always want you to keep in mind as well that if somebody disapproves of the way that you eat, how people treat others is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. So if somebody is on you about your diet and is very rude about the way that you eat, it's because they feel insecure about the way that they eat. And those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And all right, this rice is coming to a boil, so I'm going to turn it on to simmer and cover it up for 45 minutes. And like I said earlier in this video, you know, there's absolutely a time and a place for eating these fun foods. So, you know, what's going on with me with going down to celebrate my significant other's birthday tomorrow, some people will say, I want that to be part of my signature system. In my program, we talk about your signature system, like I talked about a little bit earlier in this video, and how you can decide occasions when you want to have food that's not technically slim on starch because it promotes the longevity and sustainability of your lifestyle. And I think that is absolutely fine. And just because for my significant other's birthday I'm eating what I would normally eat, part of your system can be that for your husband's birthday, your girlfriend's birthday, your mom's birthday, whatever it is, you have food that is not technically slim on starch because that's what works for you. It's all about what works for you, and the best diet is the one that you can stick to in the long term. And I see a lot of my clients in scenarios like these, or perhaps it's their birthday, they'll say, I'm really gonna try to stay on plan. I'm really gonna try to stay on plan. And I almost discourage it, because what I don't wanna do ever, I don't want any repeat clients, and I don't ever wanna set somebody up for failure. And I really wanna promote sustainability. And so if somebody is too gung-ho about being on plan 100% of the time, then that's a scenario where I would encourage them to work their system and to really consider what they want to do in order to promote that sustainability in the diet. So again, in this scenario, you know, if you want to, whenever you get invited to somebody else's house, that's when you have something that's not technically on plan, and it allows you to get the results that you want and stick to your diet in the long term, then absolutely go for it. I want this to be sustainable, and I don't want this whole foods plant-based lifestyle to just be a diet for you. I really want us to use it as a foundation for the rest of your life. So I have chopped up most of the cucumbers. All right, so the cucumber is in this nice big bowl. Now I'm going to move on to the mango. You know what's funny about mango is I never was a mango person, and then I lived in Australia for a year. The mango there is on another level. Mangoes in the US stink. Mangoes in Australia are unreal. They're unmatched. So I'm gonna chop up all these mangoes. Mango has been chopped up. Now we are going to, you guessed it, chop up the bell peppers. I've got a yellow one and a red one, so we'll chop these up and add them in. Okay, a breeze came in, so I have my Sherpa on now, but I have chopped up all of the veggies, and it smells so good and fresh, and I'm so excited for all this to marinate together, which is great. I'm making this the day before, so it's gonna be able to sit overnight and all the juices are gonna be able to marinate. My rice is almost done, and now I'm going to juice up a bunch of these limes, and I don't have a juicer, which I wish I did, but I don't. But I'm gonna juice up a bunch of these. All right, the rice is done. Definitely made the right decision by getting this wild rice blend. I highly recommend this stuff because it smells delicious. I've never had it before. I'm not a huge rice person, but it smells so good. So I got my rice. That is all good to go. I just squeezed all of the lime juice, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all together. So I have all my veggies: mango, cucumber, red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper. We're gonna add in the rice, we're gonna add in lime juice, and then black beans. So easy, so simple, and so fresh too. So in it goes. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to add in some black beans just because that makes it nice and hearty and wholesome. You know, you get that the protein kick, and it just feels like a really full, complete meal after adding in those black beans. So I'm gonna go pick up some black beans and add them in here, and I'm gonna add in my lime juice, and this just looks delicious. All right, the beautiful grain salad has been made. I'm gonna throw in the black beans, but you get the idea. So it looks great. And there we have a veggie skewer. That is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.